Hey guys, Battleblood here. I'm here to do a vlog, another vlog, to help answer some of the questions that have been going on pretty often, pretty frequently, especially around YouTube and other mediums. But top three questions that I believe were asked are: one, what happened to commentaries? Two, what happened to TPC? You guys quit? And let's see, number three is, what was that secret project all along? And actually, the answer to each of those questions are pretty intertwined with one another. So if I'm answering one of these, it'd help actually it'd help explain the other two a little bit. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and answer the third one first. What happened, or what was the secret project? Which will actually answer question two, which is what happened to TPC. Well, we've basically been working on new wizards. I ended up deleting my balanced Kevin Wildblood. He was about level 15, so it didn't really matter. And created a new ice wizard. Basically created a clone of Kevin Battleblood. Um, and that was our secret project. Was TPC was going to make 4 completely new wizards of the same school, played by the same player. Um, and there's a reason for that, which also kind of answers number one. What happened to the commentaries? How come I'm not doing it anymore? Well, truth is, a lot of the matches, especially around May, June, and July, while it does encompass, or at least while it does include spells from Winter Tusk and yeah, spells from Winter Tusk with some extra training points here and there, people are probably wondering, how do you guys then build your wizards? It's got to be different, right? Well, based on the trend that I've seen through those 3 months that have been mentioned, there isn't really too much change per se. I mean, a lot of the same strategies still apply. You want to go defensive early on, try to find your opponent's like a pattern between, or find the pattern that your opponents have within their team, find the weakness of that, find their strengths, defend against those strengths, etc. Ooh, that lifesteal saved it. Lucky Guardian. Okay. Um, play the right, keep conviction up, fortify if not, etc. A lot of cookie cutter kind of strategies, a lot of repetition and reiteration of the same strategies or tactics. And so, if you listen to some of the commentaries, basically, if you look back on the videos and looked at the very last commentaries that I did, you would notice that he's kind of yawning, here and there, and I mean, what I said in the commentaries is that I was partly tired, but the truth is, um, when you're just so used to these strategies, and when you've reiterated it enough, especially to the viewers over, 20, 30, 40 videos, it gets pretty tiring. You feel like, I'm just repeating the same thing over and over. That these guys have probably gotten out by now. If they've seen every single fight, they should be very familiar with what's going on. And so there's very little to commentate on from that point. And yes, this does include the addition of the new spells from Winter Tusk. I mean, there wasn't too much change. We haven't been using the spells much after the first week of applying it. So, for example, I used to carry a lot of Legion shields on Battleblood, but I realized, one pip that I spend right there trying to protect my teammates from 30% damage from one attacker, it's probably better invested in an Empower instead, or a Smoke Screen, which can save my team from being hit. So, you know, and we didn't utilize Insane Bolt all that much, as we said we were going to. I mean, it's things just having to rely on luck in the first place. So that's why even Fallon doesn't even carry the Wild Bolt. So Insane Bolt, I mean, you really have to have some classy tricky and stylish plays, but we're going. We modeled our team and tactics against kind of adapting to how our enemy plays, and then trying to find again the weakness within their patterns. Um, so we don't. So we didn't utilize supercharge for one. I mean, an easy earthquake or disarm or steel charm could just nullify that. So we decided, if ever the case, we don't want to waste one turn putting all of uh, Fallon's pips into a supercharged blade, and then um, rely on Ronin again to donate, and then wait yet another turn before she can actually use those pips. Unless you're talking about like a Tempest or something, but again, such combos when they require 2 or 3 turns uh, to chain or to take place before the combo's finished. Sometimes in any kind of interruption where you need a heal or if someone dies, um, then it's really not your best bet to put, to risk basically all of your pips into something like that. So that's another reason why we didn't utilize any of the new storm spells. Um, Gear-wise, yeah, we did a little bit of a change, but it's kind of self-explanatory, and I'll actually detail that in the new commentaries later on. So, I kind of jumped ahead of myself right there. Yes, commentaries will be returning, but this will actually start when I finally am uploading videos of the new TPC. Balance a spell, we aren't I think Ronin may be using Availing Hands, if anything. So that would be covered there. And I guess the only new spell that we've really been able to rely on was Brilliant Light, which adds the heal boost charm on all allies, or Triage. And let me tell you, if you've seen a lot of our TPC 2 games, you're going to be very impressed with how Cassandra uses it. So, um, be prepared to see some great plays once the August videos start being uploaded. Late August, that is, anyways. Because that's when the commentaries will start up for those videos. So, alright, so to explain, why is TPC doing this? Where have we been? No, we didn't disband. We didn't quit. I mean, that's already implied with me explaining what we're doing lately. But why did we do this? Why did we create new wizards? You're probably wondering. Well, think of it this way, and this is this ties into why commentaries have kind of stopped, and why we created new wizards and whatnot, and why we've been inactive lately, or I mean, for at least within early August or so. Now, the reason for that is basically many of our duels, especially in late July and August, well, maybe even the entire month of July, um, with Battleblood with 1400 rank and Ronin around 1350 or higher, and Cassandra around 1300, and Fallon being around 1000 or so, it didn't help us when we've won against teams that were kind of utilizing a new team format. Oops, I should have talked to him before. Well, let's hope this counts. If not, well, I guess I'll be doing this again then. Basically, what a typical night for us in PvP in the past was that we would, I don't know, it could be a Friday evening, Friday afternoon even. We would hop into the arena and let's see. Hop into the arena and we're all ready to go and whatnot, and we start up a queue. Now, typically, and this has happened at least 6 out of 7 times, we've had to wait at least an hour, at least even 2 hours. Just kind of passing the time, just socializing or theory crafting or whatever it is we do um, before we get a match. Now, there are three different kind of teams that we would run into. Um, the first one being the rarest, and that's a decent team with some decent rank. It's been so long since we've seen a team with full warlords, all legendaries. Um, it very very infrequent. I mean, it was a very infrequent occurrence to run into that um, around that time period. There were two other types of teams that we ran into a lot, and that was competent teams that either had one person that was a low level, like level 1, and 3 legendaries, or teams that had warlord, 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 and then a private. And so, if again, with TPC being all warlords, if we lost the game, that would mean about 20 to 25 rank, maybe even higher, and we've hit some of those windows. I know Cassandra has some screenshots, but we would lose, 25 to 30 rank or so for every loss. Now, every win that we gain, I mean, excuse me, every the rank that we gain when we win is significantly, I mean, it's just ridiculous at that point, because we're getting about sometimes 0 rank, because um, or no, it's usually 0 to 10 rank, and the 10 rank we get is when we run into those 3 warlords with a private or so. They've offset the average rank between all players, and the records between all players, and so the rank calculator is much much different. It's much, um, I mean, it's really unsatisfying, really, um, and kind of confusing, and just really, I hate to say it, but kind of unfair. But what are you gonna do? um, so yeah, I mean, we would be winning, 10 matches in a row, maybe lose one or so. But if you're winning 10 matches in a row, and most of the time we're winning about 1 rank, for every win, and then we play one game where we lose, and we would lose like 25, so it was an uphill battle where we just kind of slid more often. I mean, we would slide down or fall harder than we can climb back up, even if we're winning about, again, like 10, 15 games and losing one. I mean, it was ridiculous at that point. Even Fallon ended up dropping to Commander because of running into those different types of teams. Now, there's a third type of team that we run into, and this is the incompetent teams. These are the ones that are all privates, and it's the reason we run into them is because we've sat around long enough in the queue. Oops, what is this? Should I get this? No, I don't have anything. We sat in the queue long enough that the game just had to match up 4 warlords with 4 privates. And so, I decided not to even record those matches unless, of course, the privates were pretty skilled and had first turn. Then I would keep the recordings. But, I mean, I said we were going to show every single match, but I realized, there's no point in showcasing TPC taking on 4 privates that probably have no chemistry within their team, or even sometimes they don't even know each other because they're all randoms, or they're just incompetent on their own. So it's really an unfair battle in that case, and I don't think anyone could draw any kind of I don't think anyone could learn from that, from TPC kind of dominating another group so easily. So I mean, the matches were they were long. It basically sucked out all the fun for TPC, in the sense that we were playing to keep our ranks or to make sure that we wouldn't lose another 25 or so points. And so, there was a little bit of stress placed onto, hey, we need to win this. If we lose at all, I mean, losing's okay, but not when you're giving the rank to another team that, you know, technically doesn't deserve it. A lot of teams ended up doing Tempest spamming, which we've, you know, easily found a counter to. There's some videos that'll showcase that, and then we've run into the new types of teams that like to stack the smoke screens, which is the treasure smoke screen upon the regular smoke screen. And so, losing 25 rank um, to imbalance strategies, it. Whoa. Okay, I want to keep to the main quest. Let's see what the main quest is. Sorry for the interruption. Greatest warrior. This is. Okay. What's this retribution one? Croconomicon. Oh, okay, that's the main one. I want the main one. I just want to stick to main quests on this guy. Um. So again, why pass? Why give all of this rank that we've earned over time, especially from my 1400 wizard or Ronin's 1300 to 1400 wizard? Why would all of our rank be passed on the teams that that aren't playing with skill or with the ability to use advanced play? Um, why would they be getting all the rank in just one match where we have to play 30 to 40 matches just to make up for that loss? So there's no point in just giving out all that rank to teams that either won because of first turn advantage or teams that won those because of those imbalanced tactics. And I admit I was reluctant at first. I thought, what, we can find a counter to this. We need to stick in there. Um, all of our efforts so far is just we can continue doing this. We've always found a way behind, whether it's blade stacking or chain stunning or tempest spamming or whatever they have nowadays. And I was trying to convince the team to, hey, we can do this without creating new wizards or so, per the suggestion that was made by either Ronin or Fallon. They wanted to go ahead and start all over. And this is in a direct an indirect way of down ranking. Instead of forcing losses upon our own wizards, we would go ahead and just reset the ranks back to 0 in our records. And I mean, there are two advantages to this. One being that, hey, at least we're all on the same page right now. We're not we don't have gaps between our ranks of you know of 100 points to 300 points or so. So now we're all on the same page, and so it kind of fits the description of what I described in our TPC origin video, is that we play together, we win together, and we lose together. And that's, I mean, it's symbolically represented now by our records that are exactly the same, and our ranks that are exactly the same as one another's. So that was one reason for that change. Another reason for that change was, again, whenever we do play as a team or whenever we play one-on-one, we don't want to, I mean, we don't like downranking per se. And one reason for that, especially for me as a personal reason, is we like to give it, we like to give any opponent our best shot. Give them a real fight, a real game. Let them, either earn that rank or earn those wins. And if they're not competent enough to keep up or so, then, at least the loss of their rank will give them some motivation to try again. So, instead of just downranking and giving free points to whoever is out there randomly, and adding more losses to our record, we figured, yeah, it's best just to keep, whatever equilibrium is out there already, instead of, you know. I guess you can think of it as like an economy and an inflation. So we're not just gonna stand around and give out free money or free rank in this case. We would rather, encourage people to learn PvP through experience, through experimentation, rather than easy wins and whatnot. And again, if you run into TPC, we're gonna give you our best shot. We're not going to dumb down anything. Um, we want to make sure everyone gets the fair chance to play. A decent match, especially. Learn some tactics out there. So, and plus, it always gives when we're recording and whatnot, a decent, kind of a decent guide where when you can sit behind the scenes and whatnot and see what we're doing with these cards. So yeah, that's the reason why we created a completely new wizard, is where we've been, why the commentaries have slowed down, but they will be starting up. And again, it takes some time. Now, there's actually another reason why the commentaries have slowed down. It's because through those 3 months of May through July, TPC has been playing a lot of matches. I mean, every night we hop on, or every weekend night that is, and just try to duel out some games. Try to get about 3 to 5 games in there, call it a night, whatever. And so those 3 to 5 games per night, over on Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday, or Monday if there was like a holiday or so. I was accumulating more videos than I was putting out, and I'll be honest, it takes a lot of time just to be able to compile a recording of a commentary plus the video itself, make sure it's processed into a format that I can edit with, and then take some time. And believe me, it takes about 4 to 5 hours to upload a commentary just up to YouTube because of the file size. And at the same time, because I am commentating on the videos, let me see. Because of the commentary that has to follow in time and in sync with the video itself. I can't speed it up twice. I can't do what I do with the. Well, let me rephrase that. Oh, getting a little tongue twisted there, tongue tied. I basically can't do commentaries like I do with the videos with just the music, because with the music I can speed it up to 2 times, therefore having the time that it takes to finish the video, and then decreasing the size that YouTube has to handle when it uploads. So in other words, when I commentate, I have to slow the video down a little bit compared to the music videos, and then add my voice to it, make sure everything's synced up. And so now the game has to the program has to process the video and my commentary into one, and then this huge file that's lasting about an hour long or an hour and a half long, depending on the time of depending on the length of the match. And then I have to upload all of that to YouTube, and sometimes again, it takes maybe 3 to 5 hours on some of those videos. And that's one reason why is that instead of trying to commentate on every single thing, especially the videos after Winter Tusk, where most of the stuff is kind of redundant, I figured I would save it until another time. And this, just by coincidence, we happen to make another TPC team, and I think being able to commentate from when we play at a 0-win, 0-loss record, with not starting out with a trained conviction, how our decks eventually evolves from privates to where we are, which is commanders right now. I've been keeping track on a spreadsheet, and I've been thinking, should I make this public or not? It couldn't hurt really, but really what we do is keep track of some advanced data, some analytical data of TPC's progress over time. So we started, let me see, we started over on the 25th of August. That's when the new TPC started playing. We, and up to this date, to the time of this recording, we're now 27 wins and 1 loss. So, now we have an accurate representation of the win-loss ratio that we have. Like, how many games can we play before we run into a loss, per se. And, this was really hard to extract from just looking at our main characters, because we've had 1v1 experience, or 2v2, 3v3, all lumped into there along with TPC's record, and who knows what that is, So this kind of answers a lot of the questions out there, and I know some young ping or so has been asking, hey, where are your losses? Come on, show us your losses. And like I said, I mean, just looking at the spreadsheet that we have right here, it takes, let's see, it takes about 13 wins for us before we run into a loss. So by now we should have been 26-2, but now we've actually bumped it down to, well, what is this? I just want to make sure. Okay, I'm not gonna log out. Usually I like to log out of instances if I have to talk to the NPC at the beginning, or outside of the instance, but he's still in here, so gotta return. But yeah, that's the extent that TPC plays. Yes, we do lose sometimes, but it's pretty seldom because of the innovative or unconventional way that we play. So you would think, well, some teams lose some and win some, but with TPC, it's again, we're giving everything our best shot. We don't dumb down anything, and we have really great chemistry as 4 different people, 4 different backgrounds, and 4 different schools. So there are a lot of advantages that do play within the game psychologically and socially. And let me depart with some with little quote unquote gamer wisdom that I picked up when I did professional gaming. It's that you can put 4 of the best players in the world together on a team, or 5 of the best basketball players together on a team. But that doesn't guarantee that you will win or have a high percentage of winning. Really, it all boils down to how well do you trust your teammates? How well are they willing to, take responsibility for what you do? That again, that's team accountability. So, an example of what's not team accountability is when one teammate, for example, likes to make I don't know, racist or derogatory remarks, and everyone else on their team, the 3 other players, they just stand by and kind of let it happen in a way. Let me see. I know I have to do something here. Gotta melt some. Even if you're not doing it, even if you're not performing a violation of the terms of use, or even if you're not doing anything, if you don't speak out and condone, and kind of reprimand the person that's causing the violation, then in a way you are condoning it. You are allowing that to happen. Or if you just want to stand by and say, well, he did it, it's not my fault. But believe me, every person that plays has the potential to kind of represent you as a whole. So even though you're 4 different players, what I do, what Ronan does, what Cassandra does, or what Fallon does, it all comes back to one of us eventually. We represent TPC. We don't just represent 4 different factions or whatever. So because we comprehend that we have that kind of responsibility, and that we have that kind of cohesion with one another. You know, that I think that's the reason why many of our matches go pretty well. You know, we had that trust. Well, I mean, sometimes I make some of the crazy calls in the matches, and my team. You know, I mean, any other player out there may, if they didn't know me, they may not even trust that judgment. They would think, okay, you're crazy, man. That's too risky. But you know, thanks to my teammates out there, thanks to my teammates Cassandra, Ronan, and Fallon, because they do have that trust in me and trust within one another. When we do make our calls, when we do play certain cards and whatnot, we all kind of follow up and kind of adjust ourselves, or yeah, pretty much adjust ourselves, so we can sort of accommodate for those types of plays. You know, because there's communication, there's cohesion. I think that's what really plays to much of our advantage. That's why we don't have as many losses as um, as some people think we do. You know, yeah, we've had more than one loss, obviously, um, but again, the win-loss ratio is just it's very significant. So, you know, it's not that we don't upload every single match. The only time when we don't upload is when TPC has a clear advantage over, you know, incompetent players. And I don't want to say incompetent as an insult, you know, or to exclude anything. I mean, there we again, TPC has run into all privates who have no idea what to do because they're all randoms. They don't play as a team as one another. They've only done the quick join. And so without that team chemistry, we obviously have the straight advantage against those types of matchups, you know. So I figure, you know, you're really not going to learn that much from those kinds of matches. Instead, you will want to see TPC against teams that are familiar with one another, with teams whose players are familiar with one another. So yeah, and then among, you know, we also have work, and then school for Ronan and me, and you know, and some vacation time that we took. You know, TPC hasn't disbanded or anything. We're still together. um, I've just been busy with the commentaries. I mean, too busy to do the commentaries, but I assure you that it will return for sure. Um, that is, you just have to wait until I'm ready to roll out the August videos. So, you know, I'm doing my best right now trying to roll out as many of the May through July videos before I get to the new TPC ones. Now, some of you are probably wondering, well, why don't you just, I mean, if you feel like it's um, irrelevant to commentate on the videos between May and July, then why are you still trying to roll them out in order? Well, let me see here. I like to believe that when you when you have a certain position or a status or a situation, there's always some history behind that that's really important. Uh, and so, in other words, what I mean is the reason why I do want to upload the May through July videos because I want TPC placed in the context, in the right context, that is. You have to understand that, hey, TPC didn't just give up right away and say, hey, we're losing too much rank, let's hop on over. That we did struggle over time to try to, you know, keep some kind of integrity in there. Integrity meaning that we continue playing as this team, that we can overcome obstacles as we have in the past. Um, and so again, those matches that we're going to be showing will detail exactly what I've been describing tonight, um, to show that, hey, we've been playing our hardest, we've been giving it a really good shot, but the the gains were just not worth the losses, you know, in all senses. So, you know, well, anyways, I'm gonna complete as much of Crocotopia tonight as I can. But thanks for sitting down. Thanks for taking the time to kind of listen in and get to know TPC a little bit more and find out what's up with us. Really appreciate a lot of our supporters out there and a lot of our viewers and whatnot. Whether you disagree or agree with TPC, you know, I would have to thank just everyone, because this community is definitely a unique one in a positive way. So, I mean, again, like I mentioned earlier, I've done some professional gaming, and while that can be a positive experience, and while that can, you know, if there's money being paid um, into when gamers are playing, or I mean, when gamers are playing for the money. Let me see, what is this? Croc snake tree. Okay. When gamers are being paid to play, um, you know, that kind of implies that there's a huge community base, there's a huge community support, but you know what? The community isn't supporting one another in some of those games. So that's a difference, and that's the reason why let's see. Let me see if I remember this. I'm trying to task in a way, thinking of this and keeping on topic. Croc, sun. I'm gonna say snake just cause. Nope. Was it tree? No. I'm obviously failing now. But back to what I'm talking about. You know, the Wizard101 community is just very supportive of one another in a lot of aspects. And I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. Oh, no sun. It was just, okay. Kind of scaly, rough skinned items then. But yeah, I really appreciate just running into Wizard101, which I found on like a game banner when I was looking for turn-based games. Because I got tired of the real-time stuff. You know, reaction times are great and everything, but they I mean, they're great in real life only when you need to, well, react quickly. Whereas where you're doing turn-based strategy games, you kind of have to think it out. You kind of have to analyze and create mental flowcharts. That's what I really like doing. So, you know, not only is this game enjoyable, but just running into the, you know, really awesome people over the time. That's, you know, I just have to thank everyone out there. And you know, if you haven't peeked your head out, or if you haven't looked hard enough to see what this community is all about, I suggest that you go ahead and start doing that. You know, go beyond just playing the game, try to get involved, whether it's writing guides or sharing your opinions on something, you know, or just doing PvP. But again, keep the good sportsmanship, keep the positive environment in here, and more people will continue playing within the arena. So let's see. Yeah, so those of you guys that like to comment and stuff, thanks for all the kind words, and even some of the critical words. You know, I really appreciate being able to hear both sides of what people think about us. You know, as long as it's constructive and it's not completely derogative and whatnot. So, so anyways, again, thanks for your time. Sorry that's drawing out the conclusion, but there's a lot of things that I've just keep forgetting to say. And now that I have this opportunity, might as well share it before that time is lost. So, have a great evening, morning, whenever you're listening to this, and I will see you in the spiral. GG.